What's up, guys? Underground Geek here. I'm just sitting here drinking my Bang energy drink and reading what appears to be a Spider-Man comic book. I'm not sure. It says Amazing Spider-Man number 11, Renew Your Vows on the front of it, but I'm starting to think that this is maybe just a play fun time for the people that made the comic books, because this was obviously made for a kid and not made for an adult, because when I read it I felt like I got dumber. So it's Amazing Spider-Man number 11, Renew Your Vows. The front of the comic book threw me off a little bit because I was like, why is Green Goblin so much bigger than everybody else on the cover here? And then I realized, oh, okay, he must be some kind of giant Green Goblin. Okay. Well, the artwork is okay, but I don't know if it's the coloring that makes it look different or what, but it seems like it's very rough style. It's still okay, but it's a very rough style. So basically this is Peter Parker and his family, and it says, recently, tricked into bonding with the Venom symbiote, MJ struggled to control the alien's violent impulses as she and Peter wrestled with what this means for their family. Just take it off. Meanwhile, Normie Osborn's festering anger over the death of his father, Harry Osborn, has driven him to take drastic steps in order to preserve the Osborn legacy. And thanks to the resources of the child CEO of Oscorp and the salvage ruins of Regent Technologies, Normie is closer than ever to exacting his revenge on Spider-Man. Okay. And this is The Curse of the Green Goblin, Part 1. And the writer is Ryan Stegman. The artist is Brian Level. The colorist is Jesus Alberto. And the letter is, Twitter's own favorite, Joe Caramagna. So anyway, so we start out here in New York City. And the first box, I don't know what it is. They screw up these first boxes, and it makes me cringe so hard. But it says, if your parents ever give you the option of being a superhero, take it. It's pretty much the best thing ever. Oh my God. So we got Rhino. He's terrorizing the city, and there come the three Spider-Men on his tail trying to stop him. Okay, it's Mama and Pop Spider-Man and Kid Spider-Man. And they said, Spiderling, stay back. Your father and I had this. And instantly I'm thinking, well, why is she even here? And then she says the very next box, oh man, why did I even come if you're not going to let me have any fun? And I'm like, exactly. Well, why is she even here? But it says, listen to your mother, honey. The Rhino is extremely dangerous. So they don't think that she can really handle anything. And then they're so distracted that they see Rhino jump over this box truck, and they think that he's going to crash it or whatever. And it turns out that it was a trick. And they had these two big old guns, and they zap both the Spider-Man with it. And this is what I don't really understand. They zap MJ with it, and she's got the Venom symbiote, and the Venom doesn't really react to getting blasted by an energy weapon. You know, most of the time the Venom reacts, you know, either attacks violently or starts trying to come off the body. You know, I didn't really understand that. But so then that was all part of their plan, and they kidnapped the Spiderling. Now, I don't really understand this because I thought the Spiderling had superpowers, and she doesn't really fight back at all. You know, I thought she would at least throw a punch. But anyway, so then we cut to them waking back up, and MJ making the most horrendous face I've ever seen a female make in a comic book, and she yells, they took her! I mean, just look at that mouth. Ugh. So anyway, then we cut to Liz Allen's penthouse in Midtown Manhattan, and she's talking to January, which is like the caretaker for Normie Osborn, and they're having a disagreement. And this is what I don't really understand. I guess she was planning on this going this way. I don't know, but they get into disagreement, and instantly January's thugs show up, break through the window, and pretty much just do nothing but break through the window and stand there looking like Judge Dredd. So then she says, I know what's best for Normie, gets into the helicopter and leaves. Okay. You probably could have just took the elevator. Thanks for breaking my windows, you jerk. So anyway, we cut back to the Parker residence in Upper East Side. Just in case you had to know exactly where they were staying. I don't understand that. But anyway, I don't really understand anything in this comic book. So they're sitting there talking, and I instantly knew that Spider-Man was going to be effeminate and MJ was going to be the aggressive one in this. But he says, why would anybody do this? Peter, think. The Rhino was just rampaging aimlessly. He wanted us to catch up to him. This was all planned. Well, when I find him, I'm going to... Peter, I'm doing everything I can to keep this symbiote in check. Again, just take it off. I need you to calm down. I'm okay. I've got this. I'm calm. I'm in control. I'm like a flowing river. Okay, so what's the plan? Oh my God, that was so cringy. Ugh. I'm going to go have a little chat with Liz Allen. I can't help but feel she has something to do with this. You're going to find the Rhino. He's an idiot, so that should be easy. Well, when you find him, don't go easy on him. I mean, she's really bossy. But anyway, so then we have Normie here, and he's like 3 foot tall, and he's talking to Spiderwing. And she pretty much tells him off. She says, you know, you're trying to sit here and act all high and mighty because of what my dad did, but you're a little kid in a suit that made a giant Green Goblin robot. Who's being childish? So as they're talking, she's starting to kind of get through to Normie a little bit. He says, why are you staring at me? And she goes, well, that story's just the saddest thing I've ever heard. So then they cut back to a bar, and it's pretty much one of those villain bars, you know, the comic book villain bars, and they got all these random villains hanging out. And Spider-Man says, where is Rhino? And before anybody's even able to answer, he just starts punching people, just smacking everybody. And I don't really understand because Shocker's there, and Shocker's a very powerful villain along with, it looks like, Scorpion, which is also a very strong villain. So then we got, after he beats up everybody, we got this random guy drinking his beer that points to the employees only room in the back. Then we cut back to MJ, and she breaks through the broken window, which makes no sense, and then smacks these thugs, knocks them down, and finds Liz Allen. And I like the way they drew MJ there. It's a little awkward, but at least she looks like a female. And then we cut right back to the bar for some reason. Why are they cutting this so many times? Every page cuts to a different thing. So then Spider-Man's back. He's at the door. He smacks the guard, plumb through the window. And then he says, where is she? And Rhino's like, relax, she's fine. And then he starts going ham on Rhino, punching him and smacking him around. And my thing is, Rhino would be fighting back. That isn't really, it seemed uncharacteristic of Rhino. But Spider-Man beats him to a pulp on the ground, and he says, you were saying? He says, Oscorp. And he says, stay away from my family, or next time I won't be so forgiving. It's like, dang, Spider-Man, you got some anger issues? So then we cut right back to Mary Jane talking to Liz Allen. And the Venom symbiote's like trying to jump all over her and control her, and she's trying to get information out of her. So she says, well, the only thing I know to do is to call Oscorp, you know, and find out where your daughter is. So she starts getting her phone, and then we cut back to, oh my God, to Normie and the Spiderling talking. And she almost gets to him, and then he decides to compose himself, and she says, you know, maybe we can even be friends. And he thinks about it for a minute and then walks out the door. Then we cut back, oh my God, to MJ and Liz Allen now, and she's calling, and nobody's answering at Oscorp, because in the next frame we see that they're all dead. So Liz Allen has killed everybody. And Spider-Man is flying to the building, or swinging to the building. He said, please don't be too late. Please don't be too late. Please don't be too late. And then he sees the giant Green Goblin robot coming out of the top of the building. So there's that. And then we're to be concluded. Okay. So this had more cutscenes than an episode of Family Guy. This thing, I don't know, now that I read it the second time, I like it even worse, even less than I did the first time. This is a gobbledygook. They don't know the characters. They got MJ being a jerk. They got Spider-Man just being a side character in his own comic. And they got Spider-Ling being the only one that has any common sense, even though she doesn't have any common sense. So it's very confusing. But anyway, this is another one of those comics that don't really matter, shouldn't even be around. That we have like 5 different Spider-Man comics right now, and this one's on issue 11. The sales are not very good, and like I said, they got Spider-Man being a side character in his own comic book. They're pulling these characters and they don't know about them. You know, they're pulling Normie Osborn trying to be clever here, and I don't know. It's like it could have been a very interesting story, and they even made Venom a side character. I mean, come on, Venom should have been like attacking fools. But that's just me. I give this comic like a 5 out of 10, just because I like Venom. But everything else is kind of sidelined, and I don't really think I'm going to be reading any more of it, but I want to try it out and want to do something different. So tell me what you think about this comic if you've been reading it. Tell me what you think about the video. Give the thumbs up, hit the notifications button. And this really just goes to show that Marvel is really saturating the market with all these different comics, and that they really need to look into narrowing down the base of their comics, because this right here is lazily done. The artwork's okay. And really they're trying to scoop up as many sales as they can. But alright guys, I'll talk to you later. Underground Geek out.